So the next step of this tutorial is to get your materials ready. And what you're going to need is a smaller paintbrush. So I definitely remember supplying 2 different sizes of paintbrushes in your packs that I sent home. So find a smaller paintbrush in that pack. If you have one of these sets that's just like a bunch of the random pieces put in one little piece of cardstock, you're going to need those along with your black and your brown. And then you're also going to need the mixing palette. Now, if you guys have the fancy schmancy palettes or like one that's all ready to go, then you're going to be mixing in the tray that is also the lid. So that is where you're going to be doing your pre-mixing. But pre-mixing is really important because you want to make sure you have your colors ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to be pressed for time before things dry and then not ready to do that. So I'm going to take my palette and I'm dipping my brush in the water, just clean water, and I'm dropping some into my palette well, just getting a little droplet there, something to work with. And this red is too red on its own. For a more natural looking red, you're going to want to mix a few other colors into it. Remember the local color. So I have taken some red pigment. I've woken up my watercolor cake by swirling some water in there, and then I'm taking it over to this palette and dropping it in the water that I put there. Okay, so this water color red is super red and I want it to be a little bit more burgundy. So I'm going to jump down to my purple, and it looks black, so double check. It's definitely purple here. So I'm going to take some purple and I'm going to mix that into my red. Okay, so that definitely is too dark. So here's the thing about pre-mixing. You want to make sure that you have just the right color, or else you're going to have some artificial looking colors. So I'm mixing some more red in there, getting a nice burgundy. I'm going to keep that, but I'm also going to make one that's just a little bit more red. I'm going to move on to another palette area, drop some water in, mix in some red. And this time I'm going to be more careful with the purple. I'm going to take just a little drop of purple, don't need that much, and mix that in. Perfect. That is the burgundy color I was looking for. But we can use this other darker one for shadows and whatnot. I'm going to take a little bit of brown as well and mix that in just to make sure that it's extra earthy colored, because gnomes are very earthy. So the next color I want to mix is green, and I want a pine green, and right now the green that's in your palette is very artificial looking. It's like really, really fake. So I'm going to take some green, obviously, get this set up. And a pine green tends to have a little bit of brown and blue in it. So the next color I'm going to add to this part of the palette well is blue. And I'd like a little bit more. Okay, so now to make that more earthy looking, I'm going to grab a little bit of brown and mix that in. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I need a dark shadow for, or not a dark shadow, but a shadow for the beard, and it should not be dark. So the thing about watercolors and white is that you have to think about that part first. So I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take some blue, a little bit of blue, and a teensy bit of black. And this is going to be our shadow area. We don't want that to be too dark, so I'm going to dilute it with a little bit more water, just clear water. That's how you lighten colors with watercolors, as you add more water and it thins it out. All right, that's just about perfect. And I think we're ready. Oh, no, we've got to do the skin tone. So that's going to be our next color. You want to get all this stuff set up before you start painting. The great thing about these watercolor paints is once you're done using them and they dry, you can just add water and like bring them back to life that way. So I'm going to take a teensy bit of orange, going to mix that into my clear water. The teensiest bit of red, teensy. Going to get more orange in there just to make sure it's not overpowering. Okay, so you see how that is like radioactive orange? We are going to just naturalize that a little bit with just a teensy bit of brown. Okay, so that should be just about right. I'm going to take just a teensy more bit of brown. Okay, there we go. So we are now ready. I've got my watercolors set up in my palette. And hopefully you guys can see all those colors. There we go. So you're going to need a paper towel. So make sure you have water and a paper towel. And we are going to get this started in the next video, but it's really important to pre-mix your colors. So get ready. We're going to start painting as soon as you are all ready to go.